John Herdman, speaking of course of Alphonso Davies, he also went on to say that Stefan Eustáquio, Milan Borjan are good to go, citing the clouds have lifted, gentlemen, because these are three big players dealing with some knocks, and that would not have been a good start for Canada at the World Cup. But it appears he has all 26 to choose from for their first match that will go against Belgium tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So what are Canada's strengths game plan, Gareth, now that we have gotten confirmation from the coach himself that everyone is available?
First, it seems like sunshine and rainbows and gummy bears and everything that's good is happening to Canada right now.
Let
Unbelievable.
the sunshine through.
Yes. Here you go. Here comes the rain again. No, wrong song. Look, like, it's just everything that's needed to be said has been said. Thankfully, Canada's opening match came Wednesday. If this game was yesterday or even today, then maybe Davies wouldn't have been ready to start this game, but it sounds like he's on track. There's still a small part of me that's kind of like, prove it that you're going to start him from the get-go on Wednesday, because simply with Herdman in Canada, you don't know. We think, but we're not 100%. This is wonderful news, not only for Canada, but for the player as well. Like, this is a huge deal for Alphonso Davies, the man, the business, the visibility of Canada on the international stage. A lot of it revolves around this man right here, and he has the ability to be a game breaker in that game. He is part of Canada's strengths. And we've seen this in other games throughout the tournament thus far. Speed kills. Davies, Buchanan, like these players playing down both flanks, whether they play inverted or from the outside, that's where your strengths are. Canada can threaten. We all know that they can do that from an attacking perspective. They need to be calculated. They need to pick their spots in the game. If they come out on fire, pressing high, about 20 minutes in, Milan Borjan's going to go down. He's going to clutch his rib or his knee or something like that, then they'll change things up and they'll slow things down. This is exactly what Canada does. So Herdman will be well aware of different phases of the game and what is required. So his strategic game plan is going to go a long way. The only way it goes off track, Andy, if Belgium come out and they punch early, they get an early goal, then you kind of have to tear up that game plan to a certain degree. But Canada's been planning this approach. Herdman's discussed it sitting in a hotel room in Toronto with his staff, coming up with different plans and different varieties of the way that they're going to play. They're methodical in their approach, and they'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Are you feeling better, Ollie? Now that we're also on the eve, I just feel like we've been talking about this game ever since they did the World Cup draw, and we knew who was going to be in the group with Canada. But I'm wondering how you're feeling now that we're on the eve of the big game.
I'm excited about it. Like, I think, look, we all know Canada are massive underdogs, but that's okay. It feels like one where I wouldn't quite describe it as a free hit, because I think the team sets higher expectations of themselves than that. But it's not far off, right? Like, no one's going to be hugely disappointed tomorrow if Canada loses this game. If they lose it in really ugly fashion, maybe more so. But really, we want to see them be competitive, and we want to see them try to spring a surprise. And I think Wills is right. You can't really go into this game with just one idea of how you're going to play, and you're going to play that way flat out all the way through, whether that's sitting deep or trying to press high and get in their face. There needs to be variety, and I think we've seen that with Canada throughout qualifying, right? They'll press for 20 minutes, make a team uncomfortable, disrupt their rhythm. Then when they maybe feel like, the opponent is adjusting to that a little bit and starting to find solutions to that, okay, now it's time to drop a bit deeper for 20 minutes and just absorb some pressure, reset, get a foundation again, play a bit more in, on the counter-attack and in transition, and you keep switching. I don't think Canada can afford, certainly I don't think they can press high up the pitch for 90 minutes in this game. That seems very far-fetched, but I also don't think they can afford to sit deep for 90 minutes and just absorb pressure. So there's got to be a bit of both. And we'll see about their ability to do that. In the warm-up games so far, I think it's looked encouraging in terms of their ability to go toe-to-toe at times with these teams. But this is another level, I think, from even Japan, and certainly in a friendly against Uruguay. Belgium in a competitive game is a whole different beast.
Can I tell you why I'm feeling more optimistic, and hear me out a little bit here? Because other teams have already fallen on their face. Not that I think Canada would do that. But do you know what I mean? Like, Qatar was really bad against Ecuador. We've already had a massive scoreline in England beating Iran 6-2. So we've already had a shellacking, and we've already had a major shock with Argentina losing. Like, those are big storylines. So to your point, like, do I want Canada to win? Of course I do. Do I want them to even get a draw? Of course I do. But if they lose, I feel like other teams have already lost in dramatic fashion, that they wouldn't be the first. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But does that sound weird? Like, I'm feeling more optimistic, Jordan, because other teams have already fallen on their face.
No, I totally agree with you, Andy. Saudi Arabia and Argentina is a bigger David and Goliath story than Belgium and Canada. For sure. The third ranked team having the best player in the world in Lionel Messi against 51st ranked Saudi Arabia. No chance. I'm saying they're winning, and they end up winning. So as Canada watching these games today, you're looking at it like, let's go. Let's go and play unhinged. I think I agree with what Ollie and Wheels have said. The only thing I need to add or talk about a bit more in depth is just about managing the moments tomorrow. For myself, playing in games where you know a team's going to have the ball, the worst thing you could do is sit back and respect them, right? There are moments in the game where you have to get in their face. You have to get aggressive. You have to do these little cheap fouls that don't give you a yellow card. You have to keep the ball out of your box. This is why I wanted Atiba Hutchinson to play, Stefan Eustáquio, guys who know the temperature of the game, knows what it takes. And you can't go. We have speed going forward, yes, but we have to retain the ball as well. Sometimes when we win it back, it's just, can we keep it? Can we just slow it down? If we can find those nuances and those idiosyncrasies tomorrow in the game, it could be a good moment and a good result for Canada.
And I just want to say this quickly. I disagree with you, Jordan, because I think the perception worldwide, if Canada beat Belgium tomorrow, I think that would go down as a bigger upset than Saudi Arabia over Argentina. Saudi Arabia was in the last World Cup and they played reasonably well at times. This team has experience. You might not know these players, they're not household names, but they're a decent enough side. For Canada, for the international community, not us who consume them, understand what this team's all about, they might as well be coming from another planet playing here. Canada, who's that? 1986? Like, seriously, we've been the footballing abyss. This would go down as a bigger upset than Saudi Arabia over Argentina. And if and when Canada do win, I hope that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau declares a public holiday on Thursday as well.
I will see you in the streets then, Wheels.